Hi, this is Tom from the Millbrook Center. Sorry for the Jacob Marley look, but it's the sign of the times, and it hides my multiple chins, so it serves a purpose. I'm going to give you a quick walk-around tour of the Millbrook Antique Center, showing you our dealers. We have about 35 plus dealers in the shop. I'm going to give you a quick perusal of their booths, and you can give us a call at 845-677-3921 if you see anything in the video that you like. And you can also shop online. We have samples of each of our dealers' items on our online shop at www.millbrookantiquecenter.com. So right now I'm sitting in our auction room, and that's probably where you'll see me at the end of this video. So enjoy the walkthrough, and hope to see you all soon. Bye. I'm going to take you to the front here first. We have two storefront windows. Here's a quick glimpse of the main street on Franklin Avenue in Millbrook, New York. See, it's pretty empty because most of the stores are in fact closed. We're all eagerly anticipating the green light from the state of New York and Dutchess County. So this is our window on the left, which is an assortment of all the dealers we have in the shop. Most of the dealers we have in the shop. You see, we have some nice furniture, some handmade pieces, some stoneware crocks. This window changes out often enough. Keep it fresh looking for the general public. And this would be our first dealer who maintains the window on my right as I look out of the store. This is Gray Ghost Antiques. Jen and Al, husband and wife team, located in Carmel, New York. They come up here just about every weekend. As you can see, they have some great garden items, American primitives, great taste in antiques. They've been doing this for many years. And that's their window, and they're also in this first booth of our shop as you come in. The first booth on the left be Gray Ghost Antiques. And as you can see a lot of beautiful Americana, some jewelry, some garden implements. Nice. This is a beautiful old, appears to be a dental cabinet. Looks like it's from the early 20th century. Trying to keep the camera as steady as possible as I walk around. And I'll show you the next dealer, which is the first booth right in the middle of the store as you come in. And it's Megan Corrigan, who's been here for many years. As you can see, she has a phenomenal selection of jewelry. I hope the reflection doesn't distract too much from it. I'll give you a quick run around on her booth here. We have like a little island in the middle of the store in the front, and she has the front section of the island. So this is all Megan Corrigan. I believe she's located in Ossining, New York. She's about, give or take, about 45 minutes south of here, but she's been here in the Millbrook Antique Center for quite a number of years. She has a great reputation for having a great eye for decorative elements, especially the jewelry. A lot of this jewelry she makes herself. I believe these necklaces are made from old Victorian watch chains, and she makes little fobs out of them. Very popular here in the store. I can see, I'm looking at the monitor, and I can see the reflection from the front is making it difficult to see, so I apologize for that. But again, this is the first time I've ever made a video, so bear with me in that regard. This is still Megan. This is the other side of her booth here in this midsection of the store. Nice Gothic style mirror, some beautiful furniture, nice assortment of items. And I'm just going to take a quick turn around to show you Joyce Eaton Jewelers. She's a fairly well-known jeweler here in Millbrook. very popular. She used to have her own shop up the block from us on Franklin Avenue here in Millbrook, and we're grateful that she decided to move into our shop here. Many people locally know her. The showcase is empty mainly because we are in shutdown mode, and for security and insurance reasons she has to take her items home with her or locks them in the safe when she's not here. In fact, they're not even in the safe, they're in the bank vault. But she does have quite an extensive collection of jewelry. And that's Joyce Heaton. And to her right is Scrap Adaptations. This is Conrad, who is an architect and a designer, and he uses a lot of primitive tools, a lot of assortment of primitive tools, architectural elements, some finials hanging from the ceiling, from the wall, including a great selection of other antiquated items, tools, decorative pieces. I suspect these are all muses from his past designs. He's a fairly well-known architect and a fairly well-known designer. So you can see his booth here. And this is an appropriate, nice brass sign. I guess appropriate for the times, given what we're living under. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Okay, and I'm going to swing around and show you KJ Designs, which is on the back end of the same stage that Megan is on. KJ Designs is Paul and Chris. They live in Mount Vernon, New York, about an hour south of here, about a half an hour south, north of New York City. And they specialize in geodes, handmade jewelry. They both have a phenomenal eye and a phenomenal taste in decorative geode items. As you can see, these are pretty awesome. Ammonite, 250 million years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was Paul that taught me these geodes here are called cathedrals. So I learn a lot from my dealers here. This is one end of his booth. I'm going to quickly walk around. He has some more geodes, hand carved pieces in his showcase here. Pretty cool. Some of these items, as I walk around the store, I should have mentioned, are in our online shop, which is relatively new. I converted our website to an online store, and you might see some of these items on the online store. So if any interest you, you can certainly give us a call at 845-677-3921. And if you find them in the online store, you can just buy it right online, and we'll either deliver it during our shutdown. We'll deliver it to the curb, right to your car for you, or we'll arrange shipping for you if you're not from the general area. So this is KJ Designs. Some very cool pieces, as you can see. And I'll flip around again, and I'll show you Sue. This is Sue from Pleasant Valley Trading. She's been in the business for quite a long time. As you can see, she has a wicked eye for jewelry, housewares, beautiful assortment of items. She has some nice collection of brass items, pots, some old Revereware and other housewares. Even though we're closed, all of these are available for pickup if you're local and shipping if you're not. So give us a call or send me an email if you see anything in this walk around that appeals to you. Give us a call, we'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the ceiling as I turn around. This next booth is, the name of the dealer is Only One. Her name is Edie. Again, she's been here for many, many years. And she has an extensive collection of knickknacks, ephemera items, a lot of stuff from the 1920s and 30s, pre-World War II items, a lot of housewares, table settings. Very cool selection of items. She actually has 2 contiguous booths here in the shop. Sorry for the window there. This is still Edie. This is Only One, is the name of her business. And again, she's been a dealer here for many, many years. And you see she has some cool furniture here. Beautiful pieces. And I'm going to swing around again to show you Bleecker Street Antiques, which is Aileen and Geo tag team. They've been doing shows for many years in Manhattan, hence the name Bleecker Street Antiques. They're anxiously looking forward to having some of those shows reopen in Manhattan when we get past this situation we're all in. And they do a lot of shows in the tri-state area. Madison, Bachville, Brimfield, Stormville. But I believe they do the 14th Street Flea Market down in Manhattan. They've been basically regulars down there for many, many years. I think they do one in Brooklyn also. That's Aileen and Geo from Bleecker Street Antiques. Now I'm going to swing one more time. I'm going to show you Rosie Fagan. She's a local, she lives here in Millbrook, local antique dealer. You can see she has some exquisite table settings, some nice vintage plateware. Some very cool knickknacks. Sorry you can't see the stuff on that shelf because of the window behind it, but again, this is my first video, so bear with me. If I have the umption, I'll start making many more videos. Be nice if I was too busy to do this, but since we are in a closed situation, I have the time to get this done. Alright, where am I going now? I'm going to go show you the next booth down from Rosalie Fagan. This is Designed by Jean. And obviously this is a young lady named Jean. She's an interior designer. She has a phenomenal reputation as an interior designer. She does a lot of work in the tri-state area. She is well in demand for her eye and her choice of design elements. She's also an artist, and as I scroll up here, if you're not seasick by now by the shaking, these pieces up here are all drawn by her. Mid-Hudson Bridge in Poughkeepsie, Roman Coliseum, the Eiffel Tower. Very cool drawings that she did herself. So she's a very talented interior designer as well as a very talented artist. You got some mercury glass there. Very cool. Alright, I'm going to swing again and show you our first showcase. This is Sue. She lives here in Millbrook as well. So we have 2 Sues here in the shop. 2 Sues, 2 Sallys, half a dozen Joes. Gets very confusing. But if you come in here, you'll see that we have nicknames for a lot of them. And if I can remember, I'll tell you as we go. To her left is Rich's Relics. Rich is fairly local, lives about a half an hour from here. As you can see, he has a great selection of stoneware crocks, some nice antique tins, some Masonic items, some artwork, some beautiful pieces. And that's him there, Rich's Relics. To his left is Antonia. She is also a dealer up the block from us. We have the Millbrook Antique Mall. We're the Millbrook Antique Center. Millbrook Antique Mall also has many different dealers and is a great shop for browsing. You come up to Millbrook, take a look at both places if you can. And Antonia is here in the Millbrook Antique Center as well as the Millbrook Antique Mall, so she has a nice extensive collection in both places. Alright, to swing again around, this is Miley Allen Antiques, which is a father-daughter duo. Miley being the daughter, George being the father. They have quite an extensive collection of maps and prints. If you like collecting maps and prints, you can come by when we reopen and take your time and browse through all of their maps and prints. What they're known for, I'm sure you've seen a lot of these online or wherever, but what they're known for is they only sell original items. There's no copies of anything here. These are all original from atlases back in the day. Pretty extensive collection of order bonds, old maps, a lot of them from the 17th and 18th century even. So you can spend quite a lot of time here. If you're into this stuff, come on in. You can look through everything at your leisure. George, whose nickname is the Map Man, is generally here on Saturdays and Sundays when we're open. And he's very knowledgeable about these maps. He'd be glad to talk to you. He's an interesting fella to talk to. And his daughter lives down in Jersey, but she maintains this space as well with her father. And they also have a little showcase here next to Antonia's, which they have some more maps, prints, but in addition they have some really cool old glassware, handmade blown glass. As you can see. So this is the Miley Allen's Antiques section. And to their left is the duo of Peter Cassidy and Casey Skahane. 2 fellas that are constantly doing shows in the tri-state area, Massachusetts, Brimfield, Madison, Barkville, Stormville, Elephant's Trunk in Connecticut, Brimfield's in Massachusetts for those who are not in the tri-state area. As you can see, they have quite a collection of items, and they've been doing this for a long time. So you can spend quite a long time just going through these. I'm noticing these hands, and I know those are in the online store. They're very cool. So if you happen to be interested in their old modeling hands, they look almost human, which is kind of scary, but they are cool looking. Alright, give me 2 seconds. Straight ahead here. I almost tipped the camera to the side, but that'll make you even more seasick. This is Joe Agro. lives locally also. And here we are in the first booth on the left. As you come down the stairs is the Painted Peach. She has a shop right here in Millbrook, just down the block from our store here. This is her little showcase. As you can see, a sample of what she has down in her shop called the Painted Peach. Her name is Sarah, and she has a great artist's eye. Some very cool pieces. And this is just a sampling of what she has in her shop. So if you come in here, I'll show you how to get there. Okay. The next booth, the next three booths, is also a local merchant. His name is Kevin, and he owns the bottle shop about 2 minutes away from here. He's sort of a local legend. We call him the Bottle Man. I like to say to customers when they come by and I direct them to his shop when they're out looking for antique hunt, I say he's got one of everything ever made. And if this video serves any purpose, you'll see I'm not too far off the mark. He's been a picker for well over 50 years. He's basically been doing this his whole life. Very knowledgeable fella. Very extensive collection of antiques, ephemera, bronzes, candlesticks, just about anything in the antique field you can think of. He's got it. This is all his booth. He has a nice selection of items here in his booth. 3 booths actually in the back room of our shop. You see, got a beautiful piece of stained glass there up against the window, so it's the one time where having the light from outside come through serves its purpose. Some old tools, stoneware crocks, and they don't call him the Bottle Man for nothing. As you can see, he's got an extensive collection of rare antique bottles. And if you go to his shop, you'll see he's located in Salt Point, which again is about 2 minutes from here by car. If you go to his shop, you'll see quite an extensive collection of bottles, stoneware crocks. Again, this is a sample of what he has over there. And if you come by here and I remind you to go over there, and I say he's got one of everything ever made, you'll go over there and you'll say, wow, that guy wasn't too far off the mark. Got almost everything ever made. Pretty cool. This is his also. So I guess you can say he has 3.5 booths here. So he's quite an extensive collection here at the shop. I'm very happy to have him here. To him, around the middle of the store is Ann Negrin. She again is not only in our store here, but she has a booth up the block at the Millbrook Antique Mall, like Antonia before does. And as you can see, she has a pretty cool collection. A lot of antiquated books. Some nice artwork. Some beautiful pieces. Table settings. Some lamps. Very cool collection. Now I'm going to swing around. I'll take you a closer look at this, but these 3 booths are all dynamic duo of Joey the Bone Man O'Neill and Steve Petito. Steve is an antique, an auction, he has an auction house up in the Hudson area, Hudson, New York, and the Catskill area. He's been an auctioneer for many, many years, and he and Joe have teamed up to rent these 3 booths from us. And as you can see, they have quite a collection of cement garden items, some cool Buddhas, lamps. It's like a cement zoo. A lot of animals, all for the garden. One of our dealers upstairs in the second floor, which I'll show you in a minute, is a retired master carpenter, and he made this sign for Joey the Bone Man. I don't know if you can read it on this camera. Joey the Bone Man O'Neill. If I don't have it, you don't need it. And one corner of their section is dedicated to their rugs, and they have a great extensive collection of rugs, mostly Persian, Turkish, Iranian, mostly hand woven, vegetable dyed, made by hand in Persia, that area of the world. Pretty cool collection of items. They even have the old barn door. I think that's an old horse stable door. That's somebody painted on a bull there. Pretty impressive decorative piece. And on the back end of the middle section, actually the front end as you're coming in, is Kevin Warren. Kevin's a metal worker with a keen eye for anything with a motor on it. Any piece of metal. He really has a great selection of porcelain signs, some very rare, some license plates, lampages. Really cool. He has these two sections here, and as you can see, it's a pretty cool collection of stuff that he's managed to maintain and bring in. And that's Kevin Warren. Now I'm going to make you rock again as I walk back up the stairs. And I'll go up the other aisle here, the back end of the showcase section. I showed you these already. This is the other half of Jean, designed by Jean. She specializes mainly in, this was the interior designer, Jean. She specializes mainly in mid-century housewares, as you can see. I know those are in vogue at the moment, and she has quite an extensive collection. Cocktail shakers, table settings, mostly all from the 1950s and 60s. Some very cool pieces. Back when most of our stuff in this country was made here. And she has one of two booths. I showed you the other booth. This is her second booth, where she focuses on the, again, mid-century housewares. To her right, as we're going up the aisle, is Bark Antiques. Her name is Linda. She is from Manhattan. This is her country spot. And like Marge Ben, she focuses mainly, although she sold quite a few of the English items that she has, but she does focus mainly on English royal family stuff. Right before we had to close down, she had a nice English crest. I believe it was the Regina crest, the royal family crest, that she sold right before we shut down. So as you can see, she has some pretty cool items anyway. And again, she's located in Manhattan. I hope she's doing well down there. That's the epicenter of this thing we're all dealing with. And I'm going to swing you around. This is, again, only 118G. I showed you her booth already. This is where she keeps her jewelry. And she has an extensive collection of jewelry, vintage, antique, estate jewelry. And if you ever come by when we reopen, you'll get to see it all in person without the handshaking, literally and figuratively. Okay, to her left is again Joe Agro. I showed you his main spot where the Molson sign was. He has a pretty cool collection of trinkets, knickknacks. That's what he specializes in. I'm going to try and get this whole store in one walkthrough. If the battery lasts. This is Gene, the comic machine. I'm not sure if I showed you this or not already. If I did already and this is redundant, I apologize in advance. But Gene has an extensive collection of comic books, a lot of rare first issue comic books, mainly 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even the newer stuff. He has a lot of, and he refreshes this at least weekly. He has quite the selection. To his left is the duffel bag, which is Brian and Jeannie. They have a military surplus store in Paterson, New York, which is about 40 minutes south of us. If you're ever in that area, I would surely suggest you go in and check them out. Brian is a very knowledgeable guy about militaria, and as you can see, they have quite the collection of military items here as well. And that's called the Duffel Bag in Paterson, New York. Look it up. They're also in closed down mode, so they're as anxious as we are to get reopened. Okay, and to his left is Cynthia Parkinson, who has a beautiful collection of old antiquated books. And if you're into that, this is definitely worth a trip to come up and take a look at her collection of books. And I'm going to swing you around, going back to the front of the store again to show you what she has. Basically everything in the front showcase here is Cynthia's, and as you can see, she has a great collection of jewelry. Sorry for the glare, I can see the glare in the monitor there, but I'm learning as I go. So this is all Cynthia Parkinson. And with that, I'm going to walk upstairs because she also has an extensive collection of art on our walls. This is our second floor we're coming into now. And again, this is Cynthia Parkinson's art collection. She's been collecting art. She used to frame them. Very nice collection of artwork. A lot of listed artists. Beautiful pieces. And as you go from the first floor to the second floor, you'll see them on the walls. And now here we are on the second floor, and the first dealer that you'll see when you come up the stairs is the aforementioned Mike Lang. He's a retired master carpenter. We call him Mikey Wood. As you can see, he and his wife have this booth here on the second floor. A lot of the furniture you see in this shot was all made by hand by Mike from repurposed old wood. A lot of the wood came from the Millbrook area. Some distressed blanket chests. With his wife accenting it with a nice collection of glassware and table settings. So it's a cool little mixture between he and his wife. Well worth the look when you come up. And here we go, swinging around to one of two Sallys we have. This is her name. Her business name is Sales by Sally, and she specializes in also mid-century clothing and housewares. She has some collection of bottles here as well. But if you're interested in 50s, 60s, and 70s housewares, knickknacks, Sally's the one to come check out. We often get set directors from various TV shows and movies that come in here for props, and they always seem to gravitate towards Sally's booth here because she has quite an extension of quite a collection of 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s housewares, table settings, knickknacks. So when they're ever filming a movie, they come in here and they usually gravitate to Sally's, Sales by Sally's booth here. As you can see, it's a fairly big sized booth, and she has quite the collection of plates and cocktail shakers and furniture. There you go. Even luggage. Everything you need to make a movie. Alright, so there's her. And right next to her, just to confuse everybody even more, is our second Sally. Sally is local here in Millbrook. Very nice lady, her and her husband Larry. Larry's a piano player of note. Larry Ham is his name. And he and his wife maintain this booth here. And they have a pretty cool collection of stuff. Sally has a great eye for antiques. Dolls, some glassware sets, plates, ribbons, and another dealer with an extensive collection of books. I can't say they're all antiquated, but they're all interesting because I've perused these myself. Catalogs, books, little knickknacks, little cool little things. She has a great eye for the little cool things. Alright, that's the second of two Sallys. And now I'm showing you the ceiling as I walk over to her right on the second floor is Robbie and Louise. Robbie's located here in Millbrook, New York, and Louise is located in Saratoga, New York, about an hour north of here, give or take. But she usually comes down, hangs out with Robbie on the weekends, and the two of them combine to make for quite a lovely selection of antiques and artwork in their booth here. As you can see, awesome ship model, which I think is in our online store. There's a perusal of her and he's booth here. Nice shaker style grandfather clock there. And they have a really cool collection of old lead toys from the 19-teens and the 1920s. This is our record section. Consortium of all the dealers in the shop. If they have records, they bring it into this section. So you can peruse all the music you like, all in one place in the store. Before the shutdown, the records were selling very well. I think they were coming back in vogue. I hope that continues when this shutdown is over. This is being filmed in two separate days because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So this is day 2 of this filming procedure. So this is our record section. When the shutdown's over, you can come on by and spend all the time you like perusing our albums. We even have some cool 45s here. Some of them go back a long ways. Okay, across from that is Glenn, who is our jewelry repairman. He used to work with Joyce Eaton from downstairs I showed you. He was the repair guy in her shop up the block from here. So now our coup is complete. We got them both. We have Joyce Eaton to sell you the jewelry and Glenn to fix it for you. So hopefully he'll be back soon too when we all reopen. And next to him is Andrea Cassidy. Name of her business is Three Sisters. As you can see, she also has a nice selection of housewares, knickknacks. She plays a mean Irish drum as well. And this is a sampling of her stuff here. Some pretty cool artwork as well. She has these showcases in addition. Nice selection of vintage glassware, some sconces, that's Andrea Cassidy. She works with her daughter on this booth. And then finally, the back room of our second floor is the Millbrook Auction Center, where we do, prior to the shutdown, we were doing live in-house auctions. I believe for the rest of this year, it's kind of a mess, I'm sorry, but I believe for the rest of this year the auctions will be online only. So we may do a live feed on the YouTube channel if it works, and we'll post on our social media, various social media sites, should that occur. So that's the Millbrook Auction Center, and that closes out our tour, I believe, of the shop. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all soon when we're all back in business.